Hey, Joe Gilder here. Pardon the noise. There's a wood chipper out there, and I can't do anything about it. But let's talk about how to get information, specifically like tracks and plug-in settings, from one song to another. Here's the scenario. We just finished up tracking a song for my band. This is a song that we've been working on for honestly several months at this point. Due to scheduling conflicts, we get together every couple of months. So we started a song a few months ago, then a couple months later we got together to work on it some more, just in terms of writing the song. And then we finally, once it was written, we got together on a Saturday to do a tracking session to record everything, which I will talk about in another video. But let me show you real quickly what became of this. So this is the old song. So you can see here, if I zoom all the way out, there's a lot going on in here. Typically the way we write, which is different from the way I personally write when I'm writing songs, which is kind of fun. The three of us will get in a room and sometimes we'll come up with an idea and then we'll just record some of those bits of ideas, like a section, and then come up with a different section and record those just to kind of piece it together. Usually it's just me on guitar plugged in and Joel on bass, and then Tim, the drummer. Typically we might create a drum loop or something like that. Well, this time Tim actually came in he brought a drum loop that he created and a couple of extra tracks that he created as well. So I think it was a drum loop and like an organ part for this song idea. So that's this thing over here, the very first idea. So I pulled it into an empty session and we just started kind of playing along with it. So me on guitar, Joel on bass. And then that evolved over time, where we took what we really liked about the drum loop and we kind of started messing with that a little bit. And the song, as you can see, as we just kind of go from left to right, the song kind of evolves over time. And we used the arranger track heavily to do things like this. Say, should this section be 3 times long or 4 times long? We can do that with the arranger track effortlessly. And none of this is meant to be permanent. This is just a drum loop that Tim played at his house. And these are just our tracks trying to figure out parts and the chord progression and the arrangement. And then we arranged and rearranged and moved things around until we got to this kind of arrangement, which is we decided this is what we want. Now, none of these tracks are keepers. This was just us kind of goofing around trying to figure things out. The vocal tracks, for example, are just me singing with the speakers on. You can hear the speakers in the background. It's just to remember the vocal melody ideas that we came up with, and then to be able to reference those later. So when we get to the day where we want to actually record the song, I don't want to record into this session. It's already fairly messy. If we look over at like the pool, I hit the wrong button. If we look over in the pool, there's a lot of audio files here. So every time I recorded something and re-recorded it, it all gets saved in the pool. So it's a fairly big session already. There might be playlists of different versions that we tried. This was just meant to be a kind of scratch pad, as it were. We do have a scratch pad feature, but this was just us using it normally. And I recognize I don't want to start from here. I want to start from a clean slate for the actual proper version of the song. And so that's what we did. I opened up from my mixing template. We started with something like this, and then I created the individual tracks for the drums. Here they are here, record enabled. The bass, just one bass track, and start off with one electric guitar. And these are the other buses that are just in my template by default. I actually start recording in my mixing template so that when it's time to mix, guess what? Hey, it's right there. So this template is mainly just for routing, folders, buses, and then a bunch of my effects sends that I like to use a lot are already baked in. So all that said, when we sat down to do the session, to do the tracking session, we were all thinking, okay, it'd be great to have the vocal track in this session just so we can hear it and guide us while we're playing along. Because the verse section is fairly like repetitive on this loop, and it's easy to forget how many measures you're into it. So a vocal would be helpful. So an easy solution would be like, hey, let's bring the vocal in from the other session. Here's my trivia question for you today. How would you do that? Now you might think, Joe, I just would create a vocal track, open the other session, copy it, come back over here and paste it. Yes, you could do it that way. What's the problem with that? That's actually what I ended up doing because I couldn't remember the better way to do it, which I'll show you here in just a second. The problem with that is if I come over here and I say it's actually 2 vocal tracks I needed. If I just copy these, so I select them and I hit copy, I come over here, back to this song, and if I just click paste, does anything happen? Okay, it pasted onto the first 2 tracks, kick drum and sub kick. That's not what I want. So I would need to create 2 vocal tracks, then select those and then hit paste. Okay, so that can work. I have to make sure I copied them from a downbeat on a bar marker. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to line this up because, like I said, the other session, we had a bunch of stuff happening at the beginning before the song actually started. So getting this to line up with the new song is going to be a little bit tricky. So I'd have to undo that, go back over here, and make sure that I'm copying it from at least a downbeat because the tempo is going to be the same. So maybe I cut these here, then I copy, and then I paste. So then it gets me the vocal, great. What it doesn't get me is the vocal mix. We had put a couple plugins on here. I'd like it to sound the same way. As you can see here, we've got a plugin on each of these. We had a reverb on it as well. I think that I turned off. And I want to be able to hear, actually no, we had Studio Verb on the bus as well. So I at least want the plugins on the channels to come with it. That's where things get tricky. Because what I pasted into the new session is just a blank audio file on a blank track. I've got to bring in the plugins again and remix it, which as someone who loves efficiency and hates wasting time, that feels like a waste of time. So what are our options? Initially, I thought I could just come in here, hit copy on this, and then come over here and just hit paste. Oops. I only pasted one. If we select the channel itself, let's do it this way, because that's just copying the audio. What if we come over here, we select the 2 channels on the mixer, and we hit copy, and then we come back over to this session, and we click on these 2, and we hit paste. Okay, that pasted the settings, including the fader settings, but it still didn't give us the audio. We still have to do this twice. We have to copy the events, paste them, then go back and copy the channel settings and paste them. That's cool that that's an option. I remember a time in earlier versions of Studio One where you couldn't do this. By the way, if you didn't know you could do that, there's a lot of things you can learn by just right-clicking. So you right-click on it and it says copy channel settings. It's just regular copy and paste. So you can copy from this channel over to this one, but you can also copy and paste to a different song. In case you didn't know that, super handy if you mixed a song and then you realize, I really wish I had made a template out of this, but I've already started the next song, but I want to copy those settings. That's an easy way to do that. Another option would be, if we're still here in the old song, is you might think, well, maybe we can do, I've seen Gregor do this thing with track presets. Couldn't that work? So let me just take this scratch vocal and drop it over here into the browser. Anywhere in the browser, and it says it's going to store, sorry, you can't see it because my face is in the way. Let me move my face. Hello, face, move. So if I click on the actual channel itself over here, and I drag it into this window, it gives me a little thing that says store as a track preset. Or if I drag it into the track preset folder, same thing. If I do that, it gives me a track preset called the name of the channel, which is just Scratch Vocal 2. Let's say we come back over to our song. Let's get rid of these for a second. And we open up the browser and we say, cool, I want Scratch Vocal 2 in this session. And we drag it in. What do we get? Well, we get the channel, we get the plugin and send settings and the fader settings. We still don't get the audio. So the thing I wanted to do was to bring in audio. So up to this point, my only solution is to copy the audio, then copy the settings. Or do a track preset, bring the track preset in, then go copy the audio and paste it in, and then line it up. None of those things are the end of the world, but I knew. That's what I did. I just copied the song, and then I just copied the audio, and I just actually remixed the vocal really quickly, and then we worked on the tracking session because I didn't have time to troubleshoot. We had 1,000 mics set up. We had to go. In hindsight, though, afterward, I texted Gregor. I was like, bro, I know this is a dumb question, but I have lost my mind and can't remember what's the best way to do this. I thought it was maybe going to be track presets, and then that didn't work either. And he comes in, gives me like 7 options, which of course there are 7 options. But here's what I would do, and a feature that I had completely forgotten. So let's go to, we're in our new song. The boys are set up, we're ready to record, and we think, can we have that vocal? And I can say, yup, I'm going to use import session data. So if you look over here, there is a session, formerly known as song. Session is just the song page, as we used to call it. Click on that. Check it out. It's the very second option, import session data. This is glorious. Let me show you. I'd honestly forgotten that this existed. So it automatically opens up in Finder our default song folder. So if I just look for the name of this song, which is Old Song right here, pops up, groovy. I hit return. Who says return anymore? And it opens up this window, import session data. Now I've got a couple of options. I can first, on the left-hand side, I can choose which tracks I want to import. Well, for this song, I want to import this one and this one. And more than that, I can choose what I want to import. So if I do it like this, where I'm bringing in the volume and panning, insert sends, and any potential like virtual instruments, it's going to do what we just got, which was just a blank track with the appropriate settings. But I want the audio. In case you didn't know, audio inside Studio Pro is called events. They're events. Both audio and MIDI are events. So if we check this box, it will bring that in. If we want to bring in any takes or any layers, we can check this box as well. If there are launcher cells that you use, you can check that. When in doubt, probably just check them all. So now check this out. I hit OK. It copies the audio files over into this folder, which is exactly what I would want it to do. And bam, we have our tracks. I'm going to drag them to the correct folder over here. But check it out. The audio is here. And also the settings are correct. It's got the plugin settings, the send settings, and even the fader and panning settings for those tracks. And now I can just, all I got to do is, if they're not in the right spot, I can move them to the right spot, which again, I can do by just making sure I slice them up at a bar line and then move them in case things don't start at exactly the same time. I was going to have to do that anyway, so we don't have to worry about that. However, now I've got everything I want. I've got the audio, I've got the settings. We can start recording lickety split. If you didn't know about import session data, it's right here. Import session data. It is a glorious thing to use. Now you may think, what about templates? Would that make sense to use templates for this? I don't love templates because I want my templates to just be the raw skeleton of my session, which gives me like the routing and some different settings that I want. I don't necessarily want audio living in my template because more than likely I don't want that audio every time I create a new song, and that's going to create a lot of copies of that one piece of audio. Import session data is the chef's kiss for this specific situation. So don't be like me. Don't forget this exists. Use this on your next session. Thanks for watching. See ya.